Hi everyone, I'm Lara from gosimpli.ca, and today I wanted to talk to you about muscle versus fat. I have a lot of people on the channel telling me that they want to change the way they look and what is the best way to go about that. And they always tell me that they want to lose weight. Fine, it's an admirable goal. What I want to do is try and explain the difference between fat versus muscle, in that many people believe that muscle weighs more than fat. And that's not true. And so I'm going to try and break that down and explain to you the difference. So a pound of muscle and a pound of fat are both a pound. They're exactly the same. One can't weigh more than the other. Okay, a pound is a pound. So if you think about it in a different way, say if you had a pound of feathers, you're going to need like a big, like a pillowcase isn't going to hold them all. Like think about how big that would be to have an actual pound of feathers, okay? And then a pound of steel is going to be much, much, much smaller. In fact, you could probably fit that into a pretty small sized ball, even lead. Use lead's even heavier. So the size is the issue. So when you take your body and you try to take body fat and through exercise turn it into muscle, you could essentially weigh exactly the same. You could start out at 150 pounds and start doing your exercise and your weight training, and you could still be 150 pounds and actually drop 1 or 2 or even more clothing sizes. And why that happens is because muscle is more dense than fat. So muscle takes up less space. So to try and show that, I have these are exercise equipment. I have to be very careful picking these up because they're weighted. I have 2 pieces of exercise equipment here, and they're both weighted balls. So if you can imagine this smaller one as muscle and this larger one as fat, and they both weigh the same. So they're the same amount of weight. If I put them on a scale, they would show the same weight, and yet the one is smaller than the other. So let me put these back down here, and you can see them on the floor. The one is a squishy ball, so it squishes down. So muscle is roughly 15% more dense than fat. So it takes up 15% less space. So if you take your jeans and you weigh 150 pounds, but you have a higher percentage of body fat, they're going to fit a certain way. And if you take that percentage of body fat and lower it by putting on more muscle, and so your muscle mass percentage increases, those jeans will become looser. So I always try to tell people when they have a goal of losing weight, which is fine, it's an admirable goal, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you definitely weigh more than you should for your body size, like for your body frame and your bones? Are you doing it because you want to feel better? Are you doing it because you want your clothes to fit better? Because sometimes losing 10 pounds will definitely make us a little bit smaller if we've just lost it, but if we haven't put on any muscle, it's still going to have all of those things that, especially as women, but not just women, but just that we feel unpleasant. So that sort of flabbiness that we tend to hate under our arms, or that muffin top that we have around our waist, that's not going to go anywhere. It might be slightly smaller because we have lost 10 pounds. However, we could actually stay the same amount of weight and work all of the muscles throughout our core and our arms and our legs, and our body would shrink in size, and we wouldn't feel that same level of squishy. I'm going to lovingly call it squishiness that we feel at our middles or in our arms or on our legs. Those are the areas I hear about all the time. And then you often do still lose some weight when you put on muscle, because that muscle needs a greater amount of energy to be maintained throughout the day. So when people talk about, raising your metabolic resting rate, okay, so raising your metabolism even when you're not working out, working out at the moment, right? So even when you're at rest, that happens because we have more muscle. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism goes. So you can eat a little bit more food. Now, please notice I said a little bit more food, okay? You can't charge in and, you were only eating 1,500 calories and now you're eating 3,000 or something like that. So you used to have 3 meals a day and now you have 8 and they're all big. That's not going to work, okay? There are numbers at play here. However, the muscle does take more energy to maintain, to keep strong. So yes, you can eat a little bit more. So what I always suggest to people when they say, I want to change my body, I say weightlifting, lift weights, progress up and lift as heavy as you can. And you will see the results you want more quickly and more the kind of results that you want, rather than just losing weight. If I could tell everyone to throw their scale away, and believe me, I have a scale and I step on it, even though I know, and that's fine. Having the scale is not the enemy. The enemy is our interpretation of what those numbers mean. The numbers really aren't important. You don't need to track that. Track how your clothes feel. Track how the squishiness around your middle or your arms or your legs, how that disappears when you do more weightlifting. And I promise you will end up happier. You will end up more pleased with the results you have. I know as women we really worry about bulking up. And in the beginning, we can feel a little more bulky, or right after we've done a workout and our muscles are really full of blood, it can feel more bulky. That's not actually what's happening. It's your body sending lots of blood to repair the muscles from the work they've done, to get them back in performance for the next workout. That's what your body's doing. That's what that sort of thicker feeling is that your body's sending nutrients and sending blood to bring them back, to heal them and give them that strength to do the next workout. So I'm not saying never do cardio. Absolutely do cardio. If you love doing cardio, do all cardio. Do the workouts that you love. If you're trying to change the shape of your body, incorporate weights. You can do weights in your cardio. You can do just weightlifting. You can use bands instead of weights. There's lots of body weight exercises that still build muscle, like think push-up, that's all chest and arms and triceps. There are lots of things you can do, but please remember, 1, muscle does not weigh more than fat. It is more dense and it takes up less space for the same amount of weight. So if you have a big box filled with muscle and the same size box filled with fat, yes, the muscle will weigh more. However, if you take the same weight of muscle, the 1 pound, and the same weight of fat, the 1 pound, the muscle will take up less space. Remember the example with the weighted balls. The muscle takes up less space, and if that's your body, those jeans fit better. That shirt fits better, okay? So, weight loss is an abnormal goal. If you want to do that, if that is your goal, stick with your goals. That's what motivates you to work out, and moving is the best thing that you can do for your body. If you want to change the shape of that body, start lifting weights. I promise it will help. It will help. I didn't believe it myself until I started doing it. And my background is in exercise science, and I was a phys ed teacher. And so lift those weights. If you have any questions about muscle versus fat, Let me know in the comments. I will try my best to explain it. It's not always easy to explain that difference. There's a lot of physics involved, right? And so I did go over this with my husband last night because he's a physics teacher, you know, with mass versus density, and it is definitely, so again, muscle's about 15% more dense than fat. And if you have any questions, I can do my best to answer them, and I will, you know, try and guide you through what your goals are. So let me know what your goals are for why you work out, which is different than just your why of working out. Sometimes your why of working out is just, like for me, anxiety, and sometimes your goal with your workouts is not only to lower that anxiety, but to also, and then whatever your goal might be. So for example, for me, I obviously, because of my osteoporosis, really want to have a super strong core. So it's a goal of mine to make sure that I can get that core as strong as possible. So let me know what your goals are down below, and if you have any questions on weight versus fat. I hope this helped to clear some things up, and I'll see you in the next video.